What's up, guys? This is Wacko. Welcome you to a new draft league where I'm actually playing VGC for the first time in my life. At least a VGC draft, because I've been playing Champions, but I wanted to take my hand at VGC draft and see how that goes. Let me fix this actually. Um, yeah, that should be enough room. Actually, it was enough room looking at this. I kind of want to show the points on the side. Alright, so I have never done a VGC draft, as I've just said, and I was in a server where people were able to get like help with their VGC teams or just talk about VGC and like Champions VGC, and I was like, you know what? I'll join this server, and I've been following this guy on Twitter for a while. Um, his name's Chris, cool guy. Um, he decided to run a draft league for the first time, and I know how difficult it can be to run a draft for the first time, so I wasn't expecting much out of this. But I think that the people in this league, um, I guess if I can call it a league, decided to take it a lot more serious than I thought they would. Um, they're all very into like the drafting. A lot of them are very excited to start battles. We will be playing on Champions. So for the first time, I'll actually be playing on Wi-Fi. Um, I'm hoping to do live commentary. I think the only problem with it is for some reason my computer doesn't read like my mic or can't like find my mic when I'm plugged into my Switch. So I'll have to mess around with some settings. I was able to do it on my old computer, but for some reason on this computer, like I kind of lost the setting like somewhere in the sauce, but I'll be able to figure it out. I do plan on live commentating if possible, so the videos might be a little bit boring commentary wise, but I kind of thought that my videos had been boring commentary wise, even like post com. Um, Either way, so we'll take my hand at this. So, anyways, um, with that said, I do want to get into the team that I've drafted because I think this team is very, very solid. It does have some holes, but that's part of we were forced to draft 10 mons. I had like pretty much bottom wheel pick. I was 10th pick out of 11. For some reason there was 11 people in this league, but it just kind of means that someone's gonna get a bye every week. So we'll be playing this for like a good 10 weeks. Um, until playoffs, and then we'll see what happens with playoffs and how we want to run that. But yeah, I was 10th pick overall. Our budget was 100 points, and let me say it is very, very difficult to make sure that we didn't go like over budget. Some people went over budget by like their eighth mon without realizing, and they were forced to make changes afterwards. It was a little bit scuffed, but draft players don't read, of course. Like that's a thing, you know. But yeah, anyways, our first mon. And you guys are gonna fucking hate me for this for anyone that actually has been watching my channel for like the last year. But I drafted Garchomp. This guy is just so freaking consistent that like I didn't know like what else to get other than Garchomp because this guy like with Life Orb is like the most consistent mon in VGC. Like it fits on basically every team. Earthquake, Life Orb Earthquake demolishes everything. Dragon Claw hits very hard. Having Rock Slide is very good. The speed tier is very good because in VGC, Champions VGC, like there's not a lot of good fast mons. Like there's a very little amount of them. And I feel like Garchomp is one of the faster Pokemon that was drafted. So I did pick up Garchomp, and that left me with 82 points left out of my 100, with 9 more picks left. So my next pick, of course, I'm going to splurge and pick up King Gambit, who was 17 points. So I've actually used a third of my budget in just 2 picks, but I thought it was worth it. King Gambit is one of those mons that is also just very consistent in VGC. It has good tools, and by good tools I mean like it works in like any like speed setting except for like against Farigiraf and like Serena, but at the same time, it's Farigiraf is weak to dark, and if it's trying to set up like Trick Room, like Koto Cleave is like basically killing it, and a lot of my other mons can kind of clean up from there. Um, so it's good like anti-Trick Room, but it's also good in Trick Room if Trick Room ends up going up because Sucker Punch works in any setting, whether it's like Trick Room or Tailwind. So it gave me a lot of like speed control unironically for being a slow mon. And I like King Gambit for that. And it does have some tools for draft, like it gets T-Wave and it gets Snarl and Taunt. Um, Although I'll say for like the most part, like it's probably running the same like couple moves every week, and that's what it does in singles too. Like every time you play in singles, um, you're running like SD, you're running Koto, you're running Sucker Punch, you're running Iron Head, you might be running Low Kick sometimes. That's kind of all it does, and that's all it has to do. Because it's so fat and it's so consistent at what it does that I didn't really want to pass up on it. My next one's gonna be Mega Frostlass. So we were actually forced to draft a Mega by round three, and when I was looking at what was open, I was like, man, what do I do? Um, I didn't know what to do, but I noticed like some people were kind of picking up like some weather picks. Unironically, Zard Y went undrafted, but I didn't want to splurge on Zard Y. Because I wanted to see if I could get a different flying type for like Tailwind, whether it be like Aerodactyl or like Talonflame, perchance. So I went with Mega Frostlass, which gave me some weather control, as well as Aurora Veil. It also does like Encore, it gets Icy Wind, it gets T-Wave and Wisp, and Taunt. So for that reason, I liked Mega Frostlass, and it's just a very good like button clicker. Blizzard is very good to a lot of things, as well as Shadow Ball. Um, I have basically the Pokemon that like resists Mega Frostlass like in any way possible, being King Gambit. And I have like probably like the best answer to Garchomp as well because you know you're just gonna click Blizzard on Garchomp. And while I guess other people could run Blizzard on Garchomp, there's not a lot of good ice types in the format that are faster than Chomp, that will kill with Blizzard. Like, besides like Ninetales and like I guess Mamoswine could be a problem for me. Um, but I like the Frostlass pick, and it was 19 points, so I've actually used over half my budget already. So at this point, I was like, okay, so what can I do in terms of like other types of speed control? I obviously have like a decent answer for like Trick Room, because a lot of Trick Room clickers are like Ghost, Fairy, or Psychic types, which King Gambit just kind of beats them all. Um, I actually initially picked up Mega Aerodactyl, however, I didn't keep Mega Aerodactyl because I just didn't have the points for it, and at the end of the draft, I realized that I had like no Fairy resist. So I ended up picking up Mega Skarmory, and while it is another Steel type, it is basically like completely different than King Gambit. It's another Mon that can beat Fairy types, which is nice because um, King Gambit isn't like the biggest fan of like dealing with fairies, and obviously neither is Garchomp. Frostlass is like whatever, like a fairy and a Frostlass are probably gonna go like even with each other in theory. So I picked up Mega Skarmory because it's pretty bulky on both sides. It can deal with fairies with Iron Head. It can beat redirection, which is nice because a lot of people drafted redirection mons like Sinistcha. I actually don't think Sinistcha got picked up, but like Mousehold initially got picked up. There was like Vivian that got picked up, and also Skarmory gets Tailwind. So yeah, the main reason I picked up Skarmory was like as a Tailwind setter, which is it's not the best Tailwind setter. Like I'll say outright, but it was other than Mega Aerodactyl and regular Aerodactyl, it was the best Tailwind setter like that was available post draft. So while I didn't get to keep Mega Aerodactyl, I'm not mad about it because I got to use two new Megas in this draft, which is very nice. And it was 11 points, so I kind of thought it was worth picking up. Our next one's going to be Araquanid, which was also 11 points. So I'm now at 24 points left out of 100, and we're only halfway through the draft. So I have really gone like top heavy here. However, I think Araquanid fits very well because um it's a mon that can eat Earthquake from Garchomp. I did initially have Rotom Wash, but also at the end of the draft, I felt like I just had too many points spent on like my top end mons. But I wanted a good water type that could just kind of click buttons. And Arachnoid was just kind of that mon. It's also a mon that gets Wide Guard, which is something that I was kind of lacking in my draft initially. I didn't have like any Wide Guard users, especially since I dropped Aerodactyl. And it has the option to run special, although special Araquanid in VGC is going to be a little bit weird because if I want to run special, it either has to run Surf or Hydro Pump. And obviously Surf is hitting my ally, so I'd have to be a little bit careful with Araquanid if I have to run special, but it definitely can in specific matchups. But either way, like it's very good in VGC, and I think having resist to ground is nice to go with that, and just hitting everything like extremely hard. My next one's gonna be Tauros Palia Blaze, which was 9 points. I was also considering going with Tauros Palia Aqua over both Araquanid and the Blaze form, but I just kept finding reasons to like want to keep Araquanid. I think Araquanid is cool, so I decided to go with Tauros Blaze. It's probably like my third or fourth time using this mon in like a draft format overall, but like I swear there's nothing about this mon that screams out to me like this is a good mon. Like I have to draft it. Like it just kind of ends up on some of my teams. I'm like, you know what? It works here. It's a mon that has Intimidate. It also has Anger Point, which is um an interesting tech because I have Mega Frostlass, and if I want to run like regular Frostlass with Skarmory, I do have to hold the Mega Stone, of course, but in a game where Frostlass is just trying to activate Tauros, I could run Frost Breath into Anger Point Tauros, and just kind of sweep people, and I think that's like very funny. So it's something that I think I might try at some point, but it's kind of an unviable strat. Like I'm not gonna recommend myself to use it, but if I can get away with it, or if people are scared of it, then like kudos to me. Like I've accidentally created some team synergy. And of course, Intimidate is pretty good. It's one of the few mons that just beats like Incineroar. It's also a mon that beats King Gambit. So getting rid of a mon that can beat some other mons on my team is just a very good option for me. My next one's gonna be Weirdeer. Weirdeer is a mon that I've been like kind of wanting to try recently. I haven't used it in VGC, but I know it has good tools. It has a lot of coverage moves and good offenses, and its defense isn't that bad either. Like it could be better, but 103 HP like kind of helps it stay up in a lot of instances. Like its bulk is like very similar to Farigiraf. It's not as good as Farigiraf, and I think Farigiraf is like offensively better too. Well, it hits harder, but Weirder has a lot more variety in move pool. It gets Gravity, it gets Hypnosis. I can run Trick Room with it. I can run um Shield Bash, which boosts my defense every time I use it. It's basically it's stronger than Zen Headbutt, which is nice. It used to be weaker than Zen Headbutt, but now it's the same accuracy and stronger than Zen Headbutt with like a better a better risk factor in it. Like I'd rather boost my defense by one than have like a 20% chance to flinch something. When that 20% chance to flinch something is probably gonna go towards me missing with Zen Headbutt, so very cool. Um, having a normal type and like a psychic type in VGC is very awesome. I was considering picking up a Rangaroo, but it got picked up, and I wanted a good Trick Room option as well as like another Intimidate user. Um, I didn't need like double Intimidate on this team, and I might make a change, but I think the change would probably be it would probably be more towards Tauros turning into Infernape because Infernape gets Fake Out. But I kind of want to see what I can do with this team first. Now, my next one's going to be Aromatisse, which was 6 points, and it leaves me with 2 points for two mons, which means this is basically like the last mon on my team because the rest of my team is just kind of trash mons. But Aromatisse is very solid. Um, it is actually like very similar to Hatterene in terms of like bulk, and it has the same speed tier. I actually think it might be bulkier than Hatterene because Hatterene like having being part psychic type doesn't really help Hatterene in terms of like dealing with bug moves, or dealing with dark moves. Whereas Aromatisse is pure fairy. It also has solid abilities where it can't be encored, it can't be taunted, it can't be disabled. Um, so as long as it can live a hit, it can always get up a Trick Room. So I kind of have like this Trick Room core going with like Araquanid and King Gambit and Aromatisse, and Weird Ear. I was kind of starting to feel a little bit more comfortable with some of the modes I have. Like I have my Tailwind mode with like Frostlass, um, Skarmory, Tauros, Garchomp. Um, because I could run regular Skarmory to Tailwind as well. Like Sturdy Tailwind is still like a solid ability for it. And some of the mons that beat Skarmory are not going to want to beat Garchomp. So again, like good synergy there. Aromatisse just has a lot of tools. Encore, it's also another mon that gets Hypnosis, I believe. But also like Trick Room is good for it. It gets dual screens, just like Weird Ear does. Just like Frostlass does, and Frostlass gets Aurora Veil too, of course. So, Aromatisse. My next one's gonna be Simisage. Initially I picked up Simipour, I think, and then I picked up Simisage, and I was like, wait, I think I picked up the wrong one. But then I kind of went back on it, and I was like, you know what? I kind of like Simisage because I already have a water type in Araquanid. Um, Initially I was thinking more Simipour because I would have rather had Icy Wind. But because Araquanid's on this team now, I felt like I didn't need like another offensive water where I could actually just get a grass type here. And Simisage isn't bad. Offensively, like 98 in either of its attack sets, like isn't great, but 101 speed is good. It gets Fake Out. It gets Taunt. What I don't know what else it gets. It gets Rock Slide. Um, I don't know, but the main reason I picked it up was because Fake Out, and I didn't have another Fake Out user on this team, which means my team probably sucks, but at the same time, there's options for me where I could definitely drop Infernape for, uh, or I can drop Tauros for Infernape and, like, maybe make another trade somewhere. Like, honestly, I could probably, like, make a trade to get Sneasler. Like, I'd have to drop Frostlass, and I don't think it's worth dropping Frostlass, but if I can get like Frostlass for Sneasler, I could probably just fit like Abomasnow as my grass type if I want to have like weather control. Like that's definitely a thought I've had. But for now, like I kind of wanted to rock with like what I have because I do kind of like this team. Um, and my last one's gonna be Ampharos. I probably should have picked up Pikachu, and Pikachu would have helped my speed tiers a little bit more, but like you can kind of see like I have a Tailwind mode, I have a Trick Room mode, and nothing in between. Because I don't really think the in between speed tiers like really matter. Besides like Archaludon, like if you're gonna try to outspeed like Archaludon, but you only have to deal with Archaludon once, thankfully, and I am hoping that I have enough tools to deal with Archaludon. Um, so yeah, Ampharos, it's just kind of a bulky electric type that was 1 point, and I picked it up. I think Static is good. It gets Electro Web. It has some decent coverage, honestly. It even gets Dazzling Gleam, so I didn't think Ampharos was awful. It's a decent bulky electric, and I figured it was consistent enough for me to like warrant picking it up. even though Pikachu is probably better with Fake Out, um, just didn't really care to use Pikachu. So we're gonna give Ampharos a shot. And of course, trades might happen, and to be honest, they probably will. But for now, this is our team. I feel like I have like a decent variety of everything. And the main gripes I have is like my Tailwind setter isn't ideal, but I do have two like very great Trick Room setters. Um, Sage is actually pretty underrated for what it is. Like having Fake Out and like Taunt is like pretty underrated for a mon like that, honestly. And I think it gets other tools as well. Um, it's immune to Rage Powder, it's immune to Spores. So I couldn't really complain about it too much. Um, I felt like I had a good variety of modes, and speed control options. I have good Icy Wind users. I have an Electro Web user. I got Wide Guard with Arachnid. Everything obviously gets Protect. King Gambit gets Snarl. I get Encore with Aromatisse. I don't have any knockoff users, but I actually don't think knockoff is like super important for VGC. There's not a lot of mons that like want to run knockoff in VGC, except for like maybe Weavile and like Meowscarada. Um, I can't think of like other dark types. I guess T-Tar would run knockoff, but yeah. Anyways, that's gonna be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed watching, and I will be trying to upload this to the league that I'm in so that they can watch along and judge my decisions. But um, I am doing this mostly for fun, although of course winning is always more fun than not having fun by losing every time. So of course I'm gonna be trying to win, but I think I'll be winning in a fun way if I am winning. I like my team a lot. I do have meta swap in my top three, but I think like meta swap is like kind of necessary to have a good draft. Like I think my top three synergize together very well, and I have other synergies across my team as well. So I can't really complain about what I end up with. So again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next week for when I face I believe his name is Wezer, who has a rain team without an Archalon.